Today we're going to be brewing a single cup V60 with the Fellow Ode Brew Grinder. Okay, so a lot of people have been quite frustrated with the fact that the Ode is quite a coarse grinder, and even right down here on the finest settings you're still getting quite a coarse grind size, and for a lot of people that seems to be a problem, especially when brewing single cup V60's. It actually made me reevaluate the way I'm brewing and working with smaller doses in the V60, and I want to share what I've been doing with you today. So when I used to brew V60's before I got the Ode, I would generally grind a lot finer and use the single steady pour method after the bloom, but I was finding that taste to be quite flat and not really getting the acidity that I wanted from a brew, especially when brewing smaller amounts like a single cup V60. So after playing around with a few ways of brewing with this now, I've found one that really works well, especially with our style of coffees at Abstract. We're roasting really light, so this technique will work really well for that kind of coffee. So today we're going to be brewing our Blanca Rosa Melgar experimental micro lot. Now this is a 90-hour carbonic macerated natural, so it's quite big flavours, and this technique's really going to pull out that juicy acidity and that boozy flavour from that coffee, so it's going to be really nice. I'll pop a link down in the description box for that coffee while we've still got some available, and you can grab a bag if you want to. For the recipe we're going to be using 14 grams of coffee to 220 grams of water. Obviously good water for brewing, but that's another topic for another day. You'll notice that even though we're doing such a small dose, we're going to be grinding on around the 2 to 3 scale on the Ode. I'm finding this coffee especially works at about 2.1, but you want to be in that sort of ballpark. We're going to be brewing with water that is 92 degrees Celsius. That's going to pull out some of that nice acidity, and we're going to be using the plastic V60 size 2. It just generally helps with the heat retention. It's not sucking too much heat out of the brew, so you get that stable temperature. And for the filter papers, we're using the original Japanese factory ones that come in the box. I just tend to find these flow a lot quicker than the tabbed ones, and they're just generally better, so we'll be using those ones. Okay, so we're going to grind the coffee now. And you can see that's quite a coarse consistency there on the grind size. So first thing you want to do is rinse that filter paper to get rid of the paper taste and preheat the brewer. Then we're going to pour the grinds in, give that a level off with a tap on the side. Then you're going to tie your scale and start the timer when you do the first pour. This recipe uses 4 pours, all of equal weights and at equal intervals. So each pour is 55 grams, and it's going to be poured at 30-second intervals. Now you want to get all the brew water in each pour done in around 10 seconds, and it's going to be done with quite an aggressive circular pour each time. Now, because of the coarser grind size that we're using and the fairly large amount of water we're pouring for that first pour, I'm finding that the coffee is getting saturated fairly evenly and quickly without any need for stirring or swirling. We're also only using coffee that has been rested for at least 2 weeks, so we find that a lot of the CO2 has already been released from the beans in that time. At the end there, we're just giving the brewer a little swirl to level off the bed, and then a few taps on the top of the jug just to knock any grounds off the side. That should make sure that bed's nice and flat, and the total brew time you're looking for is about 220. Thanks for watching, guys, and if you have any questions, feel free to pop them in the comment section. We'd love to know how you got on with that brew recipe. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe, and we'll be back with a new video soon.